Hey guys, welcome out to EOF Gizmo, and I am doing another video review today of a game that most people haven't played, and today I'll be reviewing Super Lucky's Tale for the Xbox One and for the PC, and I think even Steam now, because I think that just got announced, so that's cool. So, Super Lucky's Tale is indeed a curious tale. Get ready for a lot of puns, by the way, because this game has a lot of puns, so I'm going to pun it out. And it was an early virtual reality title turned into an E3 stage worthy Xbox One exclusive a few years ago. So, does this cute fox make for a worthy adventure, or is it wasted potential? Well, first off, I was very pleasantly surprised by Lucky's overall polish. I know this is a weird thing to start off with, but when an exclusive game comes out at just £20 RRP, it can give the illusion of poor quality or a lack of effort, and thankfully this is not the case with Super Lucky's Tale. Following a charming intro cutscene where you learn from Lucky's sister that Lucky and the villainous kitty litter, like I said, the pun game is strong in this one, have been sucked into the Book of Ages. Lucky must collect enough clovers, because he's called Lucky, to defeat each of these colourful kitty villains, progress to the next world, and escape the book. It's pretty by the numbers, but overall I really like the way the game approaches its limited story. Each of the worlds have a unique and very adorable set of inhabitants, but the cats are really the stars of the show, each providing context to the changes they've made to each world, and each of them memorable in their own ways. So, for example, there is one of them has like mechanical skills, and it's just covered in mechanical stuff, and so their levels are covered in mechanical stuff, and it makes sense. The game is also very, very beautiful. I think its use of simplistic and clean textures really allow the bright colours to pop, and give Lucky a feel very reminiscent of Super Mario or Banjo-Kazooie, in particular Banjo-Kazooie. It feels like a half spiritual successor to those games, which is really cool because those games are sorely missed. And Lucky and the cast also ooze personality with a really vibrant set of animations and audio cues that again take you back to an era of games which were seemingly gone until recently. I was surprised to see the game also supports 4K and is enhanced for Xbox One X, although because I'm a pauper I haven't been able to try this out. But I can imagine it looks even better with the crispness of 4K and HDR, and I think HDR in particular is probably going to make this game one of the best looking games on the Xbox One. So if you've got an X, please let me know if it is, because I suspect it really is. And the music is also fantastic, with pretty much every track being upbeat and very catchy. Even there's like a horror world called Spookington, which is fantastic. And even that, the music's fantastic, it really is upbeat, which is kind of rare nowadays, especially on the Xbox One. So gameplay wise, the game feels exactly how you'd expect a 3D platformer to feel. Lucky can jump, double jump, burrow and spin to attack foes and progress through the platforming challenges. Most of these work pretty well, but the double jump is kind of off for me. It requires a very precise button input that kind of only works half of the time, and when you're used to Mario or you're used to even the new Crash Bandicoot remake, it kind of feels crappy, to be honest with you, and for a kids game I think that's going to be a little bit of an issue, and I think a lot of reviewers had that as an issue when the game came out. I mean, it might have been patched in the last couple of weeks. I did this review ages ago, so I don't know if that is still the case, but that's probably the only thing to look out for. Aside from that, the rest of the moves are really good, and they utilise pretty well throughout the game. So, for example, through most of the levels there is a clock that you hit, and you have a certain number of time to get the coloured coins, which is basically the red coins from Mario, if you've played those games. And that really tests your ability to switch between the burrowing to the jumping to quick platforming, and so aside from the double jump, these challenges are pretty good, and I think Lucky feels pretty nice to control. The level design also stands out as a real positive for me. Each of the levels are distinctly themed around a certain overarching gimmick. So, for example, there's a farm that's been taken over by machines, and a big maze overseen by an Onion King, and they all feel kind of different, and it gives them this unique quality that reminds me of the early Crash Bandicoot titles, mainly 2 and 3, if you remember. In Crash 3 there would be worlds with like wizards and stuff, and then all the enemies would then be dressed like, you know, medieval things, and it was really cool, and I think Lucky does a really good job of that. Each level requires you to get 300 coins, spell the word Lucky, find a hidden challenge, which is really vague, but I mean, like a hidden challenge, and complete the level. Having these requirements the same throughout was actually a really smart move, because I think the player that is moving towards a goal, they know what they're looking for, they're not expecting a random game. You know, sometimes in games you'll be like, what level 1 is, get this, level 2 is this, but because it doesn't tell you that, you just get confused. Whereas because it's the same all the way through, I think a younger player in particular knows what they're doing, and they get into kind of a rhythm of looking for the lucky letters and finding the hidden challenges and all that kind of stuff, so it's good. And what I like is actually that a lot of them carry over, so if you just get the C and then complete the level, if you redo the level you still have the C, so you haven't got to get lucky in one go like you would in, say, Donkey Kong with the Kong letters. And again, I think for a younger player that's really good, and I think it makes it quite fun to 100%, to be honest. A major gripe I've seen most reviewers say is that the game is kind of requires you a bit too much to complete the game. So I think you need around 80% of the clovers, which are basically the power stars in this game, to get to the final boss. And I can kind of see their point, again, for younger players, but for someone that plays platformers all the time, I didn't really have an issue with this. I think it was a couple of the last levels in particular that were quite hard to get them, and I'll be honest, the final boss is incredibly frustrating as well. So I don't know if this is rectified by the DLC. I don't know if the DLC clovers count, because obviously I'd already completed it by the time that came out, so I can see why people would moan about that, but it's not really an issue for me, to be perfectly honest. And to be honest as well, the levels are quite short, so you can probably redo them. I mean, 2 or 3 minutes maybe tops. So if it's that hard, then maybe they shouldn't be reviewing the game, to be honest. But there you go. Anyway, in terms of achievements, the game is very straightforward, and if you're an achievement hunter, this is one that you should be on your radar. Basically, complete the game, get all the clovers, and 1,000 gamer points. It's very easy. You can do it in one sitting, probably about 6 or 7 hours, to be perfectly honest. The DLC adds a lot more difficult ones. There's another 1,000 on top, and I know the challenge DLC, which is the second pack, is very hard and requires a lot of like grinding. I think there's one for getting like 99,000 bloody coins, I think. So I'm not sure. Again, I haven't done it yet, so I'm not sure. But the second half of those points are much more difficult. But if you like achievements, the first half of the game is very much for you. Overall, I think Super Lucky Star is a fun game. Its simple setting and fluid controls are brilliantly mixed with beautiful graphics and upbeat humour to provide an enjoyable adventure that anyone can enjoy. Its poor double jump and lack of replay value can kind of be its shortcomings, but this is very much balanced by its low price and the fact it's now on Game Pass. So if you've got Game Pass for Forza Horizon 4 and you want to play a platformer, Super Lucky Star is pretty much the best you're going to get on Xbox right now, unless they add Voodoo Vince, or maybe the Psychonaut sequel when it comes out. So I think right now Super Lucky Star is probably the best platformer on the console. So if you like those type of games, you only have an Xbox, I would highly recommend Super Lucky's Tale. If I were to give it a score, which I don't really like doing anymore, but if I were, it'd probably be about a 7.5, 7.8, that kind of thing, out of 10. I think it's pretty good. It's just that double jump just ruins it for me slightly. And I think once you play the DLC, which again I think is £3.50 a pack, £7 with Game Pass, I think you've got a lot of content there that's definitely worth playing. So that's my review for Super Lucky's Tale, guys. So if you like this, please like the video and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time.